Hello, beautiful, sassy ladies. If you're a sassy woman, S for smart, A for attractive, and S for successful, looking for a strong, successful, and high quality man, then you've come to the right place. This channel is for women who want to continuously better themselves and to become the best version of themselves so they can attract and keep a high quality man for life. So in today's video, I want to talk about narcissists and insecure, low-value men. And in particular, 7 covert signs that you're dating someone who is either insecure or a narcissist. And I really wanted to do this video because last week I did a video about insecure men in relationships, and those are easier to spot because when you're in a committed relationship with someone, usually all of their flaws comes out, right? All of their negativeness comes out, and because you're with them all the time, so they have nowhere to hide with that stuff. However, as I mentioned in the last video, it's a lot harder to break away from that kind of person if you're in a relationship than if you're just dating them. But it is also extremely difficult to spot when you are first dating them. So this is absolutely a first date hack. I'm going to share with you my pro tips on how to spot a extremely insecure man or a narcissist. Now, when I say insecure, everybody can be insecure some of the time, but there's a difference between an insecure narcissist who lacks empathy and wants the world to revolve around them. That kind of person can be extremely damaging, not only to your mental health, but your emotional life, and they can destroy you basically if you allow them to. So those kind of guys are much more dangerous, and their effect on you much more long lasting and much more damaging basically than just a typical average insecure man who is just a little bit averagely insecure, right? So I wanted to point out these signs because they can be very subtle and hard to read in the beginning, and especially on the first date. However, after watching this video, you're going to be a pro, you're going to be expert, and not only that, you're going to know what to test for. And here is where, even though I'm not huge on tactics and strategies, here is where you do need to insert a little bit of strategy, because the only way you're going to draw out a insecure man or a narcissist is through these kind of tests. Otherwise, it's going to take you a very long time to discover it, and by then it's probably too late. By then you may be married with kids with him already, and then it's a bit kind of hard to disassociate yourself at that point. So if you can spot this guy on the first date, you can save yourself a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of energy later on. Okay, so let's get into the 7 signs. Sign number 1, he will have a sense of egotism. This is very subtle, like most of the signs I'm going to list, but basically this kind of guy will, in the beginning, be pouring on all the sweet things that he wants to impress you with about himself. So he will be boasting about how he's in a great job, or he's in a great career, earning this whatever amount of money, he is secure. He's gonna be trying to paint himself in the best light and try to impress you. This is hard to spot because most men who like you will do this. Whether he is a dangerous kind or the average kind, they will all want to impress you if they like you. Very hard to spot. So if you do see this, just take note. Okay, this is just one of those ones that, okay, just take note that, okay, he's kind of boasting a little bit here. That probably means he's insecure. An insecure man will feel more of a need to boast. And the most obvious ones are where, on a date, all he talks about is himself and all the great things he's done and how great he is. If the majority of the conversation is about that, and he's asking you very little questions, that's a really bad sign. And I think most of you can pick that up, but I just had to put that out there, because it is one of those telltale signs. Sign number 2, he has a persistence about getting his way. This one is also quite hard to spot, because insecure men or narcissists will pick their victims very carefully. They will pick a girl or woman who is insecure herself. Okay, so if you have a tendency to be indecisive about anything in life, so if you're like, you go to your wardrobe and you're trying to decide between 2 dresses, and you're like, oh, I could wear this one, but I could also wear that one, I don't know which one to go for. He may come in and say, go for that one, go for the blue one. Yeah, wear the blue one, I like the blue one. Okay, he's gonna come in with confidence. And insecure women, most women actually love a confident man, right? They just love confident people. So, I mean, most people love confident people, right? And the reason, we love confident people is because they know what they like, and they can instantly say, okay, I like this, I don't like that. And it's just really easy to judge, right, what kind of person they are, because they put it all out there up front. They're not like being quiet about it. They're not hiding what they like and their preferences. It just makes it easier when you instantly know what someone likes. So an insecure narcissist will find opportunities where you are indecisive or unsure about something in your life, and to be able to come in, ride in on his white horse, a shiny horse, and rescue you from making that decision by making the decision for you. And most insecure women love that, because it saves you having to make a decision. So anytime you're umming and ahhing and he's like, okay, do this, just something to be mindful of, especially if he does this a lot. And he's starting to put his foot down about many things in your life, and starting to direct, here's what you should wear, here's what you should eat, here's what you should do. If he's starting to put his foot into all these little crevices in your life and making all these decisions for you, be very careful, because that kind of guy is starting to slowly take over his territory, which is you, and taking over control. And that's how he does it, through making decisions for you and alleviating that pain, that temporary pain you have of trying to make a decision. Very, very easy way to test this is to disagree with him. So he says, go for the blue one, you go for the other one. Doesn't matter what he says. He says green, you go for red. He says blue, you go for white. You instantly just disagree. And the reason you want to do this is just to test his reaction. So if he's like coming in and saying, okay, go for that one, and you're like, nah, I'll go for the other one. Okay, now you're saying to him, I appreciate your opinion, but I will still make the choice for myself. I still have a brain, and I'm gonna make a decision for myself, okay? And you don't care what he's gonna say. Now, the great thing about this now is how he is going to react to you going against him, okay? And most insecure narcissists, because they want control, they're not gonna like you going against him. So if he reacts negatively, if he starts to pout, he gets quiet, he gives you the silent treatment, he starts to become passive aggressive, he gives you an attitude, he basically gets upset for you going against him, that's a simple sign. Like, you instantly know he doesn't like it when you don't do what he wants you to do. And however way he reacts, any of those reactions is bad signs for him. Number 3, sign number 3, he hates being wrong. He hates being wrong. Now, most people, I actually think most people hate being wrong. Most people, especially if you're insecure, there are some things you feel very strongly about, you feel right about, and you're like dead set, I am right about this, and that is why you're speaking up about it. You're putting down your opinion because you feel very right and justified about it. That's most people, and most people want to be right. We don't want to be wrong. However, the average person can be made wrong or have someone else tell them they're wrong, and they will react maybe slightly negatively, but then they'll be over it. They'll be over it really quickly, and they'll be like, okay, well, we can just disagree. That's okay. That's it. Whereas a insecure / narcissist will absolutely hate being wrong. Okay, you can tell instantly they have the most negative reactions. They will pull out all their like childish behaviors. They will pout. They will give you the silent treatment. They will be passive aggressive. They'll start to blame you, and they'll do this often. Okay, and mostly what they're trying to do is make you feel bad, and they will just attack you. They'll blame you. They'll attack you, make you feel bad, because they absolutely hate being wrong. So a very easy way to test for this is just to be disagreeable. On the very first date, he says something, you want to disagree with him about it. Whatever he says, disagree and give him the opposite point of view. And how you can test too, what you want to test too, is can you not only give him an opposite point of view, but be able to persuade him to your way of thinking. Okay, if you have the ability to make him at least look at what you're saying from a different perspective, then that's really good. That's a very healthy way to be. That means he is open-minded, and even though he hates being wrong and most people hate being wrong, he can kind of still sort of see your point of view whilst maintaining his opinion. Okay, he's not going to attack you for being wrong or different or think differently to him. Whereas if he reacts really negatively, or he digs his heels in even more when you try to persuade him over to your side, really bad sign. And you'll be able to tell if you get into an argument about something, it's a no-go. Now, this one will be obvious if you don't really like the guy, or he disagrees with you on something that you know for sure you disagree with. That's why you want to pick a topic where you could go either way. You could agree with him, but you're gonna deliberately disagree with him just to see how he reacts. Okay. And number 4, he bashes his ex or other singular or group of people. Okay, bashing an ex is the most obvious sign, I think. So if he says his ex is a bitch, is selfish, is lazy, insecure, anything negative about his ex, here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask him, okay, so what did you do to contribute to the end of that relationship? And see if he can actually tell you a list of actions that he is personally accountable for the demise of that relationship. If he cannot give you this, if he just gives you some very generic answer, and he just says, like, yeah, I wasn't perfect either, I did some bad things as well, but it's mostly her. It's mostly she was the bitch, and she was the wrong one, and blah, 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 blah. And all the focus is on criticizing her and how terrible she is. Bad sign. That means he really cannot take accountability for his own actions. And trust me, if he's saying all these terrible things about her, he will definitely say those terrible things about you later on. Sign number 5, he is super enthusiastic about you in the very beginning. He love bombs you. He wants to talk to you for 8 hours a day. He wants to move into your house after a week of knowing you. He wants to basically be married emotionally from the get-go of your relationship. He doesn't want to slowly build it up. He wants to just be in there and instant boyfriend and girlfriend. Sign number 6, he says all the right things. If he's pulling out all the stops and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is just like perfect. He's saying everything right. That's probably a bad sign. That's probably a red flag, okay? Especially if he's saying everything you want to hear and you want to believe him and you don't really know anything about him. Big sign that potentially it could lead to potentially something terrible happening. So watch out for that one. That one's hard to spot because especially if you're insecure people hate being alone. So as soon as they find someone who they can see themselves being married to like straight away like this, you're probably gonna grab onto him for dear life, right? But that's the sign that you need to back up. Okay, as soon as you feel that urge to want to be with him all the time when you barely even know him, that's when you need to slow down and back up. And number 7, sign number 7 is he has a general lack of patience for your attention. However, he disguises this as care and concern for you. So he freaks out if you don't respond in a timely manner or don't respond when you want him, he wants you to respond. Okay, he wants you immediately there for him when he wants you there for him. But he will disguise this as, you know, he was missing you, he was concerned about you, you know, you were walking home late by yourself, so he was just concerned. That's why he sent you 10 texts in a row, you know. And he really will make it sound like, yeah, he really cares. So that's a sign that if he doesn't have the ability to be patient to wait for your response, red flag. So here's how you can test for this. Deliberately wait 1 day, 24 hours before responding to him. So he sends you a message, asks the question, and usually you would respond after 5 minutes. Maybe immediately. Now I want you to wait 24 hours to respond to that text and watch his reaction. Does he freak out? Does he blame you and, you know, make you feel bad for waiting 24 hours? Does he say, are you playing games and you are this and that and this and that, make you feel terrible for doing it? Or is he just pretty cool about it? You're like, yeah, that's fine, that's cool. Because a normal, secure guy will be very, you know, will just be like, okay, he'll be concerned, but he's not gonna freak out. He's not gonna freak out and make you feel bad. So anytime a guy is making you feel bad and you barely know him, you know, even if it feels like you've known him forever, but in actuality, you've only been speaking to him for a week, very, very bad sign. So I have given you some really solid signs there and pro tips on how to test him to see what kind of character he really is underneath. Now, the real true test though, I will say, all these you could probably figure out on the first date. I know this video is coming off as if you need to go in there and deliberately be difficult. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is you need to have strong opinions. You need to stand up for your opinions on the very first date. And you want to push some buttons just slightly just to see how he reacts to disagreements. Okay, it's really, really important because in a long-term relationship, I don't care how compatible two people are, there will be disagreements. So you want to get a disagreement out of the way from the very beginning to see how he would react, how you both would handle a disagreement. Can you do it in an adult fashion, in a very mature way, or do you start bickering like children immediately? Okay, that's a very telltale sign, right? So that's what I'm saying. Now, I'm aware if you are a massive people pleaser, you're gonna have a very hard time putting these tips in place, because if you're a people pleaser anyway and you really like him and he is a catch, you're gonna find it hard to disagree with him. But that is exactly what I want you to do. I want you to disagree. I want you to provoke those signs out of him to see if he really is an insecure man who's a narcissist who could potentially cause a lot of trouble for you later on down the road, because I don't want you to waste time and energy later on. Find out early what his true character is by testing him, and then at least you will know and you can make that decision quickly, swiftly, and you can move on to someone who is much more healthy and much more positive for you and who really is who they say they are. So that is my video for this week. I hope you've liked it, and please like me, leave me some comments below, and subscribe to my channel if you like this video. And I'll be back with more videos on dating, relationships, and dating high quality men next week. Bye guys.